Hello, hello. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Connected by Seams podcast, the trio, back with you once again. Garrett Smith, Danny Espinoza, I'm Seth Smith, episode 20 of the Connected by Seams podcast. And a tip of the cap from our cowboy out there at his ranch. Boy, look at him.
Ever so softly, though.
Oh, just enough. Just enough. Just the tip. Here we are. Love it. How we doing, everyone? Garrett, happy birthday. Let's not let this show
go. Birthday, G!
I'm sure you're feeling older
42.
and wiser.
40. Whoa.
40.
Hey!
Whoa.
Not quite. Almost.
Not quite. I feel it today.
Still
This
older
weekend
than
was
me.
A long weekend, man.
Yeah, what'd you do? Let's just ride right into the highs and lows, dude. What'd you do this weekend?
Well, what makes you think that's a high?
There's got to be no lows in that weekend. You had to fucking hammer it out.
No, actually, that was one thing I was going to bring up during the highs and lows was can't really have a low on a birthday weekend. It was good. Anytime your birthday lands on a weekend, you're already a step up on the game.
A headache you could maybe complain about, but that's it.
Dude, honestly, I was waiting for one on Sunday because we went golfing Saturday, and you
hydrate while golfing.
Shotgun birdies, and if you don't get any birdies, you just shotgun anyway.
Yeah, another one.
But that, and then going out that night, and then Sunday morning, I woke up and I felt pretty decent, and so we went over to our parents' house and had a little barbecue, and things were rolling pretty well. But today, I think it was a mental thing though, like knowing that the weekend's over and you just run through it. Oh, I was drained. But yeah, I'm so tired today.
I saw him this morning, and I was like, "Hey, you gonna want to recap?" Or he's like, "Yeah, we'll figure it out."
Yeah.
Seth
came up yesterday, so stayed at our house. So, but yeah, no, the weekend was good. There wasn't too many. Dude, my golf game, haven't freaking golfed in God knows how long, and I shot a 90, give or take.
I saw you bomb one.
Yeah, Kurt's post, you
not bad, right?
it.
Yeah. It felt great.
We have no idea if it went left, right, or straight, but boy, it was
straight as hell.
Just so happened that one was a fucking bomb straight down the middle. And it was even better, too, because we were up on a hill, so that thing just soared, and it was majestic.
Oh, that is awesome.
You turned the face back to the fucking green.
That's great. Well, shoot.
Yeah, no, good weekend.
Yeah, definitely can't complain. I'm happy I got to see you. It was for a short time, but hey, we made it count. We got to watch Jurassic Park. By the way, if it's on Netflix, I'm sure everyone has seen that. But hey, can't go wrong with a little birthday Jurassic Park to end the night.
Nope.
That was a good time, but that was probably my high. I had a good week.
Jurassic Park was your high?
No, coming up for the birthday.
Oh, okay.
And seeing baby Coulson. I had to come up after work, of fucking course, slanging wangs every goddamn day. But it wasn't too bad. It was, but dude, with that the low, I sat in traffic for the first time since March. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There's cars.
All you non-important people, stay the fuck home.
God, man, like what the hell? It took me so long to get up to Orange County, and
that's actually the funny part. It wasn't even like during work hours. It was a Sunday.
It was a Sunday at like 3:30. Like, what are we doing here, guys? But that's kind of my bottled up highs and lows. Good week at work, busy week, and then capping it off, getting to see G. And it's also our other brother Ryan's birthday later this week. So it was cool to kind of kill two birds, one stone, and see, like I mentioned, our little cousin Coulson Mac. So it was fun. That's kind of my week. How about you, Danny, out there at the ranch?
Highs and lows. Got to the ranch after driving too many hours and being half awake, but
you called me. I'm fucking washing my floors at Wings, and I'm like, Danny's calling me. It's like 9:50. I'm like scrubbing the floors, sweating. Ended up talking to him for like half hour. I was like, hey, this is a good call. I'm happy you called. But I couldn't believe it. You were like, it'd just be 11 hours. And I was like, what? You're just leaving?
He's like, what are you doing?
Solo, by the way. He was by himself.
Yeah.
Hey, I like solo drives.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
okay with it. Highs and lows for me. I mean, hard to say there's a low. I'm going to go highs with baseball. I haven't said too much about baseball, but highs with baseball.
I think you just got
whoa.
right there. Wait
Holy
a second.
cow. Hold on, let me put my seatbelt back on.
Yeah. My boy's Freddie Freeman. I mean, I'm my low is that he's not going to the World Series, but I'm not mad. The Dodgers are going again.
I know. I meant to text you that, but I know how happy you are to bring up baseball all the time. So I wasn't going to shoot that text because I wasn't sure if you were paying attention. But
no, I haven't watched the game. I've seen just the updates on stuff just on social media, but. Unfortunately, one of my best friends, Freddie Freeman, he's not going to the World Series, and he's had a great, unbelievable season. But
real season.
Oh, I mean, what a player! Just unbelievable.
What a guy! Oh my God!
Great person, great family. It sucks that he's not going to the World Series, but at the same time,
someone has to.
Someone has to.
Damn, I was so fucking mad. Oh my God.
Oh man.
I played against the Braves for too long in that damn division. I'm not upset the Dodgers are going. So that's my high and low and one right there.
We all have kind of bottled
Freddie,
up highs and lows.
Boy, I love you, Freddie, and I wish to hell you were going to the World Series. I can't be mad at the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I should actually add that is my low of the week is the Dodgers are going to the World Series.
Oh, you guys are Angels fans. God.
It's not even that. I just
there's something
20 years away from rebuilding. Let's go. Come on.
There's something about just some guys on the team I just can't rally behind.
Yeah.
Because there's teams like, especially as I've gotten older, man.
No, you're not rally. Okay, this is why I rally. Kiki Hernandez. When Kiki signed out of high school in Puerto Rico in 2010, I went to play winter ball. He was there. I saw him as an 18-year-old, fresh out of high school with the Houston Astros, who he got drafted by. And I'm so happy for him. Like, he's going to the World Series.
He's Mr. Clutch. Every big position Clutch. He's ever in is freaking.
Justin Turner is a friend of mine who I'm so happy that he's going back again. I don't know Bellinger. I don't know. I'm outside of playing against all these guys. I don't know those guys, but I know Justin Turner. I know Kiki. Like, I'm happy for those guys.
Yeah.
I'm sad for Freddie. Freddie's a friend. I grew up. We played in high school. Together, but. Someone's got to go to it.
Yeah. Hey, we'll let you have it. Good for you, man.
I'm not mad at the Dodgers. I'm not mad. I'm not freaking mad.
Flip side, I am happy the Rays are there. I'm a Rays guy.
I'm not happy the Rays are there.
I was quoted saying.
I wish it was the Yankees.
I was quoted saying, if it is the Astros Dodgers, I probably won't watch a single pitch of the World Series. So at least the Rays are in there.
You might be the only one because I think.
I don't want
the Rays would probably be off the chain.
I'm so pissed off the Rays are in the World Series. God, that pisses me off.
Yeah, it'll be a good series, man. Best two teams in baseball.
No, I'm thinking that you spend $8 million on a salary on a prorated season. You shouldn't be there. I don't want them to get freaking rewarded for that.
I know. And the
AL. I'm rooting for the underdog on this bullshit. No, and I ain't rooting for that. I wish it was the Yankees, Dodgers, East Coast, West Coast. Let's go.
Do you know how long Major League Baseball has wanted that? Holy shit. That's their dream.
Messed it up. Expansion team. God damn it.
Well, hey, that's our highs and lows. Heck of a time. We're excited, actually. Maybe this means we could. Maybe Freddie's a little free now. Maybe we'll see what Freddie's doing in the next couple days, weeks. Bummed we don't see.
I'm going to call you, Freddie.
bummed we won't see his son Charlie take
Hit
over
homers?
Twitter anymore. Holy cow, his son is adorable.
Well, maybe we will. Let's see. Well,
but-
maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
it'll
see.
just be with a CBS podcast hat on or something.
Just let him know we played together when I was like 9 years old, dude. South County Blue Jays. He'll hop on. I'm just kidding. But hey, before we get into our conversation, a guy Freddie also is familiar with, Joe Cancellieri. Such an awesome, great conversation. As I mentioned in the interview, his name somehow gets brought up every single episode in one way or another. The connection coming from you, Danny, him being your trainer, getting started with the Nationals, and then everything that's blown up for him since then has just been remarkable to see, and he's so humble, which makes it even better. And for this being episode 20, that sounds like kind of like not a milestone, but a big number, like a celebrated episode.
Number.
And for him to be episode 20, I thought was fitting because he was supposed to be episode 2. We were supposed to have him, like, that's how close, that's how much we've wanted him on the show. And here we are celebrating the 20th episode, and we get to do it with Joe, which I thought was awesome.
Agree. Yeah.
So,
100% agree.
well, we won't ruin any more. We'll send it to the interview now with sports medicine expert Joe Cancellieri. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Connected by Seams podcast. We welcome a familiar name to the show, but now finally a chance to put a face to that name and a chance for us to finally talk to him and get to know him. And that's sports medicine specialist Joe Cancellieri. Joe, how you doing, man? Thanks for hopping on.
Good. Thanks for having me. Doing well. Hope you guys are doing well as well.
Yeah, we're doing great now that we get to have you on here, man. As mentioned, feel like we know you. We talk about you somehow, some way. Your name seems to always get brought up on this show, and for good reason. It's always for something you're doing, committed. And speaking of which, you and Danny share that connection. If you want to just kind of one of you take the lead and explain how you two know each other.
Yeah, well, in 2016, I was the sports scientist and the assistant strength and conditioning coach for the Washington Nationals, and I was introduced to Danny there, and I've known him since, and I moved out to California about 4 years ago, and we linked up, and we've kind of just been working together ever since then, and training in the off season and getting into a little more different modalities of training, I guess you'd say. Recently started mountain biking a lot and just trying to keep
booty.
Yeah, we know.
Just trying to keep things fun and change it up. But yeah, met Danny about 5 years ago, and we've been good friends since.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good relationship. Had a role in Washington that he used to catch a lot of shit from, not just from me, but from all the players. And
hey, someone's got to be the bad guy.
Yeah, he had to check on our wellness every single day and ask how everyone was doing, how their health was, how they're feeling. And so, probably not probably the funnest role every morning when we showed up.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't the easiest job.
Yeah, and like when he moved out to California, though, he contacted me and said, I think I'm close to to where you're at, and at that point, then we started training together, and it's been great. I mean, it's completely changed my routine and everything I've done in the training side of my sport, and I've been able to gain more strength at a lighter weight with more mobility and athleticism than I think I've ever had.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of dive into just how you're able to get guys to do that and react in different ways. But before we get into all that, man, you mentioned you're getting Danny on a bike. You're no stranger to a bike, whether it's got a motor or no motor. I hope you need, I don't know, 100-mile race. Danny just told me you did this past weekend or recently. I'm sure maybe you were wishing you had a motor at some point. But if you can kind of just tell us what you did there, 100 miles is no joke.
Yeah, well, I've actually kind of just always been around like two wheels. Obviously, I race motorcycles, and I always used cycling or mountain biking as kind of just a cross training type of modality. And I'd say probably over the past year, I got a little more into mountain biking. And this past weekend, I did something called the Hardman Classic, and it was basically a mixture of a road racing and mountain biking for. They said it was 100, but it was really 92. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Who's counting?
Jeff Ward and I, we ended up doing it together, and we had a good time. It was fun. It was hot, and you just got to manage your body when you go through something like that. And it was basically 6.5 hours, and I haven't done a ride that long in a while. I've done 100-mile rides before, but it's been probably 5-6 years since I've done one of those things. So it was fun. It was hot, and I'm definitely going to do it again next year. And Danny's going to join me.
Ooh.
Damn, we heard it here first.
Gauntlet dropped.
Not
Look at that face.
you could do it with a motorcycle.
But no, hey, Wardy's actually a really cool follow on Instagram as well. He's always on his bike. And especially in that heat. So
Yeah, nonstop. He doesn't get off the goddamn thing. I think the seat's planted in his ass.
Well, at least he's sticking to one. I mean, he's always up to something, so that's awesome.
He's dedicated for sure, and he definitely puts the work.
He rides a ton.
He puts the work in, and it shows. So he's Jeff Ward. So I mean,
I was just gonna say you don't expect anything less.
Exactly,
from a legend like that.
Yeah.
The guy's good at everything. He raced IndyCar. He got second at Indy. He's like a 3-time Supercross motocross champ. He's an X Games gold medalist, and the list goes on with him. So I mean, I think he's like 64 years old, and he's just he doesn't
never
stop.
guess that.
No, he's
so impressive.
He's in good shape, man.
He's a beast.
He doesn't get, like I said, he don't get off that bike. He might as well have that seat planted on his ass. Like
he goes there all day.
I mean, it's 30. I swear, every time I look at what he's done, it's 30, 40 miles.
Yeah,
or more
every day. Every
day. Well, Wardy, if you're listening, we want you on the show, man. We want you on the show. He seems like such a good guy to talk to.
He's the
but
best.
Hey, while we have you, man, let's kind of get into your story, your training. Before all that, a Columbia grad, man. Talk about your education. What did you study while at Columbia? What was that like?
It was. I mean, I'm originally from Long Island, New York, so Columbia is in the city. It's an hour and a half away from my parents and where I grew up, and I studied in the Department of Biobehavioral Sciences there, and that really included everything, which was motor learning, motor skill acquisition, brain and behavior, and then within that program there was exercise science and exercise physiology, human anatomy and physiology. So it really touched upon a lot of different systems of the body and how you can apply that not only to athletic performance, but the general population and special populations as well. Populations that either, have, someone has a disease or a metabolic issue or whatever it is. So it kind of just went through all those type of, individuals and really taught us how to apply it, I guess you could say.
So when you made that decision to go to Columbia, was that your intent was to get into this field or?
I think it was. I definitely always wanted to work, in sports. I think, a lot of guys do, just growing up playing sports, and it seems like it's, a really cool lifestyle. And, it's definitely, that was a motivating factor in doing it. And, at the time I was at Columbia, I was fortunate to meet, Dr. Keith Pine. So he was someone who definitely started to change my way of thinking in terms of athletic performance or sports performance. And, it forced me to dive a little deeper into their neurology behind movement and how movement starts from the brain and how important your central nervous system is. So I think I always wanted to work in it. Maybe I didn't at the time know exactly how I wanted to work in it, but through the years I kind of molded my philosophies into what I do today.
Well, and ended up by going to Columbia and meeting Pine is how you came to Washington.
Exactly.
Which is how you and I became friends and
open doors.
Yeah. So it was funny how Keith at the Dr. Pine, I should say, was he was a consultant for the Washington Nationals, and I was working, and studying under him for about a year, and he kind of came to me with this opportunity with working with the Nationals, and I definitely couldn't say no to that. I thought at the time it was going to be a really great experience, which it was, and it definitely taught me a lot. It helped me hone in on my skills, and it helped me, take what I learned from school and put it to the task and use of what we were doing at the Nationals.
Well, from the Nationals, you've moved on to, I mean, dude, it's so entertaining. The amount of like content you put up, whether it's with Billy Kemper, whether it's with a moto guy, whether it's with Danny and Freddie Freeman and baseball guys and Rendon.
MVP.
Like, I mean,
Freddie
the
Freeman.
names, the list, like you talk about what Wardy's done. Let's not cut your resume short either, man. Like your clientele is unbelievable. If you want to maybe just share with how many athletes you're currently working with right now, or what kind of that looks like for you.
Yeah, so I think, it's obviously always different because a lot of the times it's seasonal. For example, in baseball off season, this year it was with Danny and Freddie and Anthony. Hopefully adding some more to the roster, this off season. But I'm fortunate to work with a lot of different athletes.
Well, if Freddie keeps doing what he's doing, your phone might not stop.
Oh yeah, I mean he's doing really well right now. So
Yeah.
we just wish him the best of luck, and he'll be back.
Freddie be Freddie.
Freddie be Freddie.
You just let him be during the season, and then he just kind of comes back, and
Hey,
again, you let Freddie be Freddie. So, but yeah, I've been fortunate to work with a lot of different athletes, and my motocross background is what initially got me, kind of working at the W training facility, and I actually don't even work with that many motocross guys right now. I work with Joe Shimoto, Hunter Yoder, and a couple amateur riders here and there. But I have with surfing, it's been coming a little. I've been becoming a little more present in surfing. Billy Kemper. I worked with Kelly Slater, Brianna Cove, Tia Blanco.
Never heard of him.
Koa Smith, Travis Smith, Alex Smith, and then skateboarding right now. I'm currently working with Chris Jocelyn, Matt Berger, Lizzie Armanto, and then trying to think of the other sports. Football, I had Mike Williams in there. Boxing right now, I'm working with two Golden Boy promotion fighters, Alexis Roca and Ronnie Rios. They both have, actually, Alexis has a fight coming up. Ronnie's kind of on the fence of when his fight's coming up just because of everything that's going on right now with sports. And mountain bikers, Brian Lopes, and then Wardy will come in obviously every so often. And yeah, it's just, every day is a little different. Some of these guys have, not as, I guess, serious training schedules as others. So I kind of go with the waves in terms of that. For example, like, once Danny and all the baseball guys get going, they're locked in every day at a certain time. I think sometimes other sports aren't necessarily like that. I manage the workloads of those athletes differently than I do with the baseball guys in the off season. So, especially like with motocross, for example, and supercross, they're racing Saturday to Saturday. So they're not going to necessarily be in the gym every day. They have to be on their motorcycle or they're doing a recovery ride on their bicycles. So it's always different. Every day is different, and my schedule kind of changes every day. But I think that's what keeps it fun and exciting, and it keeps the gym lively for sure.
Well, and the crazy thing is too, by being there and watching it, is that you promote your stuff on social media and stuff, but what's really good is that what your work speaks for itself, because people end up contacting you. These professional athletes contact him and be like, hey, can you train me? Yeah. So, I mean, really everything you're doing is speaking for itself. It's not you going to an athlete and be like, hey, let me train you this offseason. Let me try to get you better. I mean, everything you're doing, the people that you're training, the names that are out there, people are naturally gravitating towards you.
Results speak volumes, and clearly it looks like a lot of results are on the up and up. So, yeah, business must be pretty solid.
Was there Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I've always kind of been someone who I guess I would, hold myself like in a humble sense. And especially with the way social media is now, I don't want to be like one of those people that are just blasting myself on social media all the time. Yeah, I mean,
no, do it. It's
but,
this podcast.
You can't even comment on his stuff. It sucks. He does something stupid. You can't even comment on his damn post.
I know they're nice and long and educate. Oh, with my stories, you mean? Yeah.
You can't even comment back on them.
Yeah, I turned that off. But I know I
must have done that too. That's why no one's gotten to us. I turned that off. I just try to be humble and just, like Danny said, let the work speak for itself. And I think Dr. Pine is someone who taught me that. That guy doesn't really even have social media. And, he's built an insane business with the top athletes in the world by just working. So I kind of, took that motto and, tried to live by that, I guess I'd say.
I have to go back real quick. You kind of were touching on it with the motocross and kind of the different routines that you would get into with those guys. When you're naming off all the different sports, how do you develop a program? And every guy or girl is different in what their needs are and how they need to train. But do you stick to a certain mindset or philosophy for the sport and then adjust it and adapt it accordingly?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because, like you said, everybody's different. So, I mean, that's obviously one of the first things I have to take into mind is, what that individual needs. And, obviously I'm taking into consideration their sport and what time of year it is. So those are really important things right there. But I think most of my philosophies are based around, functional strength training. And then I incorporate a lot of, the neurology and the stability and mobility type of techniques. So I kind of have my core fundamental movements, I guess you would say, but I definitely take in consideration the individual and I kind of cater a program based on them. And, when I have a group of guys like all the baseball guys, for example, obviously we're doing, movements that are going to be catering to their sport, and they're rotating a lot. So obviously I'm trying to, work on movements that are going to strengthen those movement patterns and then obviously combat, what's happening when they're excessively rotating. So it's all about managing their workload in combination with working on their functional strength, their mobility, their stability, and, really stressing all the systems of the body because, for example, in a gym, you have the physical stress of moving weight. But at the end of the day, when you're in a gym, I can tell you, okay, when you row, make sure every time you row, you squeeze your shoulder blades together. And that's a conscious movement pattern. But the second you step out of a gym, everything in your world is subconscious. So especially in sports, things happen so fast that the communication pathways between your brain and your neuromuscular system have to be at that highest level.
Yeah.
So super important.
Well, yeah. I think you said you were talking about the training, like you have your core movements of like, let's say like our deadlifts or our squats or whatever we do that is our chest, right? Most of the athletes in there will do the same stuff. But with having had the season canceled and being able to watch, the football guys or the skateboarders or surfers, like they do other stuff, like we do other stuff that they would never touch because of us being a rotational sport and us being, just a different athlete. So yeah, like you said, we have our saying, like we have core movements that we all probably do, but they do stuff and we do stuff that he has, specific to the sport to help us be better at what we're doing.
Exactly.
For sure. No, I just think that's there's a lot of people out there that get confused on training and it's all about strength and power. And you're touching on all those key points of, stability, flexibility, and all the stuff that helps you in everyday life, but in the sport. And
exactly.
Building blocks you got to start somewhere. So
exactly. That's like kind of one of my main philosophies is building a strong foundation. And then once you do that, you can start to get a little more creative, I guess you'd say. But if the foundation's not there from the beginning, we're building a structure that may not last 162 games. So it's really important to keep that in mind. And I try to implement that in a different way with each and every person I work with based on really the individual, but taking into consideration all those other things, all those other variables.
Yeah. And what's not understood, I think, by a lot of people is they say, oh, you get ready for the off season. Like you go to 24-hour fitness or LA Fitness. The intensity that people don't understand about what that type of training is compared to just going to lift. You can just go lift and not even sweat. Like, what I mean? You can go
for sure.
Just lift a lift. There's nothing behind it. Like the lifting that we do with him, I mean, whether it's doing single leg squats and he's putting numbers in front of us, so we're thinking, having to move our head while consciously, to be able to call stuff out with him and do single leg squat at the same time. Like he makes things harder, makes your brain work.
Yeah.
So you're stronger and comfortable in bad positions.
Yeah, I get it. Firing all the different muscle actions and stuff. I mean, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Really far.
Clearly, the biggest guy in the group is being the loudest right now, as I haven't said a fuck. I'll let you guys talk about all the fitness stuff in the world here. No, this is fascinating. I'm just sitting back enjoying it. It's so rad. But I also have a question. You have to be invested in your athletes as well. So are you watching the WSL and Billy Kemp? What are you? You know what I mean? Are you paying attention to them on their kind of game days and watching these sort of things as well?
Yeah, I obviously, there's some sports that I find, I guess a little more attractive to watch than others. But yeah, I'm always checking up on them. I always want to see how they're doing, and the cool part is I think I've developed relationships with these athletes that they're always checking in with me too, letting me know, what they have something coming up or how they're feeling, and I'll always throw out a text, to see how they're doing, and maybe I won't hear back from them for 2-3 days, but Freddie.
Freddie, if you're listening, text that.
No, they'll always get back to me. I understand that everybody's busy and stuff, and sometimes when you're in the zone, you don't want to be bothered. You just got to leave your, leave the technology behind, which I kind of like. So, I love watching my guys and girls compete, and it's definitely exciting, and it's cool to know that you were a small piece or a part of, that process. So
big part for some, you know what I mean? It's a big part for some.
A lot of it might be talent, but a lot of it comes from training and getting those fundamentals built. So don't sell yourself too short there.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
But even, as you've made this journey, starting with the Nationals and then everything else progressing, has there been kind of an intriguing athlete that you've worked with along the way, whether it was their process, their journey,
besides Danny?
Whatever, besides the beard in the corner? What has there been anyone that kind of comes to mind as far as what you saw, what you envisioned, actually coming to fruition or anything like that?
I think honestly there's been so many, but Danny is obviously one of them. Mm-hmm. And
don't be
honestly, Billy Kemper to me he's pretty, unique, I think, in terms of especially the sport that he's in. I think surfers obviously, they stereotypically get this, view of just, waking up, checking the waves, and if it's good or not, they go in, and then if not, they just go off and do their own little thing. But exactly. So he's been someone that definitely. Obviously, every sport, since that, I guess, ideology has changed in terms of every athlete nowadays is investing into their health, their performance, strength, whatever you want to call it. And if they're not, they're probably not in that top 10 or whatever you want to call it. But he's someone that just, he gets after it. And I actually stood with him a couple of times in Hawaii, and it was a full day. Up at 5 surfing, then we would go train, then we would go eat, then we would go do a workout on the beach, then we would surf, and then we would go do an ice bath, and then we would go sauna, and then we do ice bath, and then we would go to dinner, and then we would go train. So
that's all it takes to rip 50 footers, huh?
Exactly. So he's somebody who's just he just
good Lord,
full send, and but again, his life's on the line.
Yeah.
So he's surfing. He just got the best wave of the year. I think he won the biggest wave of the year.
He also made a cameo on our podcast, so that was cool.
He did, yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Danny walking by, right there.
Oh, cool.
Beanie on.
I think it was last week or the week before when he was in town, remember? And I
gave us
went
a
up
solid backside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He's definitely been one athlete that I've been like, wow, this guy is here to work, and it definitely shows. He's the king of Jaws for a reason.
Yeah, that's so rad. Well, how about you, man, a little bit? You're quite an athlete yourself. We mentioned the 100-mile bike ride, but you've had, I believe, your pro card in motocross since 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Do you still get after it? You still racing? Or anything like that?
I'm not racing too much anymore. I definitely like to go ride whenever I can. I think my plan is to race next year, maybe next summer. I'm going to do Loretta Lynn's with Jeff Ward. So
Are you?
Sweet.
yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's what we've been talking about it, but I
Hey,
guess
if you're
we'll
gonna
see.
do it, you might as well.
Yeah,
do
you
that
might as well
Loretta,
do it.
right?
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
do the plus 30
Gotta do the
class.
qualifiers and all that. And
Yeah,
I heard that Loretta's is expensive to get there. Like,
yeah, it is. It is. You got to do the qualifiers, and you can do those locally, but then
We're gonna get him fully sponsored. We're fine.
oh no, I have no doubt
we're gonna-
that he can do it.
We're gonna work on this whole sponsorship deal for him for his bike riding to get him going.
I like
and then
that.
I kind of am up in the air between doing Loretta's and a mountain bike race called Leadville. So that's a 100-mile mountain bike race, and it's in Utah, and it's about 12,000 feet of elevation at 12,000 feet.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say, what are you
Yeah.
sitting at elevation?
Holy
and
cow.
then you go up to about 18,000 feet or 16,000
Jesus
feet or
Christ.
something. So it's one of those two.
Yeah. Either way.
Ride with an oxygen
then
tank.
later on,
Yeah.
he's gonna try the Ironman after he does one of these.
Oh my
When's
gosh.
Everest coming up? You
Yeah.
gonna do that one?
Ooh,
That's
that
so
would be
cool, though, like-
He's gonna do Everest without an oxygen tank.
At that point. That's rad though. I can remember our pops, Garrett and I, our dad, he would do mountain bike races. We go to Big Bear, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I never went to Idlewild,
Go to
but
Utah.
yeah, I
go
didn't
to-
do the Idlewild, but he's doing a motocross race actually. What is that, next weekend, G? Late October.
This weekend, the next
He's
weekend.
doing the vintage something.
the Vet World Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Glen Helen.
Yeah, maybe. I don't even
Yeah,
remember. Sorry,
Well,
pops. But I was, I'm fired up. I'm fired up for him to get on the bike, though.
That's gonna be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
As long
sweet.
as he enjoys doing it, right?
Oh, he loves
he
it.
loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He
got
loves it.
he's got like 8 bikes, and half of them are like super vintage and special
That's sick.
makeups that he's putting together and stuff. He loves it though.
Awesome. That's always good to see.
He just actually bought a like 84 125 YZ 125, and he got it
No
super
way.
cheap, like Craigslist or something. But brought it home and fired it up, and it actually ran. It was like, oh shit!
way.
Like, yeah, no, the thing's sweet.
Yeah.
He's loving it. We gotta get him and Jeff Ward together.
Oh my
He
gosh.
would be in
when,
heaven.
when we went home one time, we literally were like, Dad, guess who we might have on the podcast? And he was like, Jeff Ward. And I was like, wait, did we tell you? Like, how'd you know?
Yeah, it was
And he was like,
we had
no,
this
but that
combo.
would be so freaking cool. Oh man,
Jeff
he
will
would
do
lose it.
We'll
That'd
talk
be-
to Jeff. We'll get him on here.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we were trying to get him on, and then
Something
a friend
happened,
of his,
unfortunately.
passed away, and then he was traveling a lot.
Oh, he'll do it now. I think now he's pretty.
I think he's a little settled back at home right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
The
would love it. That would be so
motocross
cool.
is
There
over.
would be a lot of people that would love that conversation. But hey, while we still have you, man, you don't strike me as someone that is gonna settle or be done, especially education wise. I feel like you three probably could have just went on and on. You know what I mean? Which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying. I don't think you're gonna stop pursuing education. What's next in store in you for you or anything like that?
Yeah, I think, in terms of that, I always kind of telling myself that, the more I learn, the less I know type thing. And I definitely have always pushed myself in terms of education because, the more I educate myself, the better my athletes are going to be and the people that I work with are going to benefit from that. But, I kind of, I have the basic certified strength conditioning coach certification. I practice something called LDOA. And I'm an LDOA practitioner, which level 1 and 2, which is specific to your vertebrae, your L5, S1, all the way up to your C1, C2. And then, I actually got a couple of certifications through this company called Integrated Kinetic Neurology, which is really focused around your vestibular system, subconscious and conscious movement strategies, and your visual system. So I think, my approach and, sports performance, and it doesn't even have to even be an athlete. It's just unique in the sense that I try to incorporate all that, and the mix is different for everybody. But I definitely want to use what I've learned and apply it in the best way possible, and that sometimes may not happen in the first week or the first month, and sometimes figuring out an individual takes time. But I think once you get a good rhythm or a good recipe for that person, you just kind of just start moving and making headway
Running with it.
Yeah, and the LDOA certifications are something that I want to go all the way to level 5 with, but that takes a little bit of time. And Dr. Pine was someone who introduced me to LDOA and the myofascial stretching world, and it's something that I really like to apply to athletes and just everyday individuals, because we're all sitting down at a desk all day, our shoulders are rolled forward, we have bad posture, and that's exactly and that's exactly what LDOA combats. And especially for for example, someone like Danny who's rotating a lot, just every time you rotate, your spine and vertebrae pinch. So anytime you can decompress that region, whether it's your low back or your middle thoracic or even your cervical, it's definitely beneficial to your health. So yeah, education is really important to me, and I definitely always will continue to pursue it and try and learn more.
So with that LDOA, I'm new to this. I've never heard of that, and I'm curious if Danny, I'm sure, has heard it just through you, or maybe he heard it before that. How familiar or popular is that with most people, and what are they missing out on?
I would say it's probably not the most popular thing. It's very, very specific, and I might be wrong, but I know that there's less. I think there's less than 150 LDOA practitioners in the United States.
Wow!
But it's a very in-depth, and I should actually backtrack. LDOA just means to create space. It's a French acronym, and it's a really long one, but in short, it's just creating space. And basically, if you think about, if you have your L5S1, which is your last lumbar vertebrae that attaches to your sacrum, you can actually position yourself in a certain way that it actually opens up the facet for however long you want to hold it for. And what you're doing is you're decompressing that region, you're creating space, and you're allowing synovial fluid to rush in between those joints, you're hydrating the disc, and you're creating overall good biointegrity of the region, and secondly, you're correcting the posture. And for athletes, Danny's a great example that rotates a lot. But then for motocross guys and any other type of athlete who's landing really hard or compressing, it might not be the L5S1. There's an actual stretch for every single one of your vertebrae up the spine. And it's a really, really beneficial series of movements. And it goes even further because all your nerve endings that come off your spine, if you tell me, for example, you have knee pain, and you point to your knee, that doesn't necessarily mean it's coming from there. If the nerve that comes from your spine that goes through your knee is being pinched somewhere up your back, decompressing that region can alleviate that pain at the knee. That's just an example. Don't know if that's true, but there's just so many other.
Sounds really good to me.
Yeah,
body's a weird place, man.
Shit.
Exactly. So, and then even the myofascial stretching that is involved in that. I think a lot of people will stretch, but they don't necessarily stretch the fascia that surrounds their muscles. So it's a pretty in-depth, I'd say, series of movements, and it has to be applied the right way, and they have to have someone there just kind of guiding you through it, but it's super beneficial.
It sounds like that's not even – I was just going to say, it sounds like that's not even just for athletes. That's just for overall life. Yeah,
but it can be for anybody. I mean, it's health for everybody. But the thing is that when I do all that stretching with Joe, it's very hard unless I were to be trained in that to feel completely comfortable doing it on my own all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it is very specific, and if you're not right, then you're either you're doing it wrong to where it could be, not beneficial to you, hurt you, or it's
wasting your time.
Yeah, you have to do it the right way.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Very specific.
Some weird positions and some weird, you'll feel some weird stuff, but it's very beneficial.
Yeah. When I had my spill mountain biking a month and a half ago or 2 months ago or whatever, that Danny's laughing at, my neck was jacked up, and I got adjusted for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And not gonna lie, didn't expect it and scared the shit out of me. And I left there going I would never be able to do this job. There's so much trust that you need to have in that person. Yeah. And just it was scary.
Yeah.
Felt great.
Well, Joe, we appreciate you've said a lot of words. I don't know exactly what they mean, but you're doing something right, man, and it's so fun to watch.
Appreciate it.
Let people know where they can follow you, how they can follow along with your success, where they can find you if they're interested.
Where they can
in
hire you.
anything or hire you, bookings, whatever you want, man.
Well, I guess my Instagram is Joe_Cancellieri. Hard name to spell.
You can't
But
send the
actually-
hard eyes, unfortunately, on his story, but you can follow.
But then actually, my girlfriend and I just started an app and our own fitness brand.
Big
And-
drop. I told you we
Yeah.
have a drop for this.
Big drop.
Breaking news channel.
Breaking news.
We're
But
known
you
for
can find us at m1strong.com and
One more
if you
time.
wanna do- m1strong.com.
Bam.
Ooh, that was clean.
Yeah.
That was good.
Right?
Yeah.
So no, I just wanted to kind of just take my knowledge and her knowledge as well, and just integrate it into a platform that can not only help professional athletes but everyday fitness enthusiasts and people trying to look, a little better, get healthier, and just live an overall better quality of life. You don't have to be a professional athlete to join. We do have professional athlete training, but we're using a mobile app, and it's a pretty easy process to sign up. $40 a month, and then the professional athlete training goes a little higher. But we have kind of just like a little form that you fill out as you sign up to kind of give us a little better price point for the professional athlete side. But we're definitely looking to expand it. We're just starting out, slow and easy, and looking to grow the right way. But
Well, I hope you're ready for the following now that it's been dropped.
There we go.
There
Let's
you
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That is so
Everybody
cool,
sign
man.
up.
If you need an intern or assistant, I'm looking.
Yeah. We know a guy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, sweet, man. Thank you so much, dude. It's so nice
Anytime.
Danny wasn't lying. You're as good as advertised. So happy we
Appreciate
got
it.
to talk to you and meet you.
No,
Yeah.
And hopefully you can do it in person sometime soon. This was a
absolutely.
blast.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and I guess maybe next week we'll all go for a mountain bike ride.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out there.
Yeah, you let
Danny
me know how it
tried.
goes.
Yeah.
Danny tried it a couple weeks ago, and he told me, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like 35 miles." I was like, "Dude, I haven't ridden in 3 weeks. I don't know about this."
Oh,
We'll
man.
build up, Danny. Whenever you come back, we'll go.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We'll get.
Sweet.
I'm in.
All right, Joe. Thank you
Awesome.
so much, man. Have
Thanks,
a good
Joe.
night.
Thanks,
All
Joe.
right. Have a
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
So we hear the conclusion of the interview there with Joe Cancellieri, the sports medicine specialist who works with just so many professional athletes on so many different levels. He goes from, training a 7-time All-Star to training someone that rips 50-foot waves. You know what I mean? It's remarkable to see how he's able to balance that and just kind of see his growth. I'm sure, like you guys kind of joked about, Danny, that position he was thrown into in Washington is not an easy deal at all. Dealing with that many professional athletes of that caliber, trying to get them to show up every day and work and train and be that, energy that guys don't want all the time. But to see him start from there, and now do this, do that, and now has kind of reached and doing his own thing, creating his own website with him and his girl, which I think is awesome, by the way, M1 Strong. Check it out. I checked it out. Platform's up, the website's running, super clean, but just overall just an amazing journey that is nowhere near done. He talks about still wanting to accomplish more education wise and just do so much more, which we love. He's never settling and just trying to prosper as much as he can.
Which, to chime in there, you say, and he talked about extending his education and always learning. It's hard to believe that he has more to learn because his mind is so vast in knowledge and different types. Like he's all over the place, but in a good way. And he talks about and mentions like he always kind of knew like that's what he wanted to get into, and he's always trying to get in there. And for somebody like me who I worked out in high school, but it was like what we had to work out for baseball. And then post high school, all of a sudden it was like, oh, this is what the gym's all about. And I got pretty heavily into it. And, fast forward freaking 15 years and I'm finally going through with something that, I've always wanted to do. And it's right up there. And, to become somebody like him and be a personal trainer is one thing, but to become somebody that's creating their own platform and their own philosophy and building training programs and understanding the body that far, that's freaking so incredibly difficult in my mind, but he does it so well. And to hear him talk about all the different connections and the focuses on, the flexibility, stability, and all the neuromuscular connections and all that, it was just cool to listen and hear, because that's exactly what I'm learning about, and it like follows along. And like I had mentioned to you guys too, post convo, it's like the mindset and philosophies might be the same, but he has it to a whole nother level with his workouts and his training. And it's like, I don't know. I thought it was super cool and something super relatable.
Well, that's what sorry, Danny, I'll let you go, but that's what I was saying pre-show is he kept it so relatable. He didn't make it too nerdy to where someone like me wasn't lost hearing it, wasn't completely in the distance of like, what the hell is he talking about? You know what I mean? Like, he made it so relatable, and people are reaching out to him. These are top caliber athletes reaching out to him to train. He doesn't have to contact anyone, which I feel like that's how you know you've made it. But
also,
sorry,
what's
go ahead.
cool about the way he talks and like about his craft and in style, it's not just relatable to that high end or high level guy. Like, healthy living, healthy lifestyle is for everybody. So like his training and everything is across the board, and it's not just for professionals, and he talks about that, and I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, he doesn't only train, professional athletes. He does train just normal people that want to stay in shape and want to, make their life healthier and better. Joe is a guy that, after all the seasons and years that I went through with training, that I really trusted and said, all right, I'm gonna make a change right now. And I made the change, for the better. And he's such a smart guy. And the thing I like about Joe is that he's so open to learning. He does not believe that what he teaches and what he does is 100% correct. He's always willing to learn. And if he's willing to learn, that helps me, because I don't know that world. That's not my forte. But for him to be able to be willing to change and to learn, that only helps me. That only helps every athlete that he helps. And for him to be training a guy like Freddie Freeman over the past 2 seasons, whose numbers have become better and better and better, you can see the difference that Joe's made in his career. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Freddie's not full of talent. Freddie's got more talent than the normal human being, obviously. He's got the hand-eye coordination, the power, the strength, the height, the leverage.
Athleticism, yeah.
I mean, Freddie's got everything you want, right? But Joe has only helped that. He's only helped make Freddie a better athlete on top of what Freddie is. And Freddie believes in it. I feel, as long as I've known Freddie over all the years, is that Freddie believes in Joe. And I believe in Joe, and Joe's helped me in my career. And I just think that everything that Joe tries to do is not necessarily for him. It's for the athlete. It's for the people he's trying to train. And so someone like Garrett, who's trying to get into the world, like I told Garrett, I said, come into a day and just see what it's about.
Oh, for sure.
Just, you know what I mean?
The interaction, the everything.
Right. Because he's learned from so many people, and now he's teaching. Now he can show people what he's learned. And Joe's the type of person that he wants to show people. He wants to help people. It's not about Joe.
Right. He seemed like it wasn't so much like, I'm not keeping secrets. There's no magic sauce. It's like, no, like everybody needs to learn and grow and see what's going on here. So and that's kudos to the person who he is, and kudos to his parents for, raising him the right way, that, that he wants to help other people. And Joe's a very good friend of mine, a guy that I want at my, I want at Christmas, I want at my Thanksgiving, that a friend of mine that I want there with me. And so I trust him with my life. I trust him with my family. And, he's just a dude that, I would entrust. If I told him, any friend, hey, go train with him, he's going to help you,
it's not going to be a lie. It's not to make me look better. It's not to make him look better. It's because he's going to really help you.
He's going to help you.
He's a good person.
It's not. Yeah.
Before he's a good person. He wants to help you. You know, it's not about his money. He wants to help you.
Yeah. And you got that sense just hearing him talk in the 35, 40 minutes that we did of him hating to post on social media, but understanding that he has to. You know, there's just so many things he wishes he didn't even have to do, but he's just got it because he recognizes that's 2020. You know what I mean? But
that's the way the world is.
But he wants to make it known that that's not who I'm not doing this for me. Kind of just exactly what you're saying right now. And it was just really cool, man. He was a fun conversation with a lot of knowledge.
I'm looking forward to having him on again, and because there's so much. Obviously, that world is so deep that I want to talk on nutrition and go even further on.
And his girlfriend Nicole, and his girlfriend Nicole. I mean, that's another woman.
And that's
very on top of everything, and she helps him, and that's who M1. You know, their whole camp is based around M1. It's Joe and Nicole. It's not just Joe. It's not just Nicole. It's them together. And, they have the unbelievable relationship, and they help each other grow, and that's how they've created M1.
So rad. As Danny's mentioning, M1 Strong is the new website launched. It's now an app as well, I think he said. But boys, fellas, we got more groundbreaking info. How about that? That was so rad. Danny, you kind of gave me a heads up, but I wasn't sure if he was going to drop it, and I wasn't going to put him on the spot. So I'm really happy
he unprompted. He just dropped it himself.
As he should, man. That's so rad. He should be proud of it. Like I said, the website's awesome. His services are great. For anyone listening, if you missed it, he doesn't just work with professional athletes. He'll take the time, check him out. He's on social media at Joe_Cancellieri. Check out him and his girlfriend's new website, m1strong.com. But anything else, fellas?
I just want to say thank you to Joe. This is a guy that I trust a lot of faith into, and I appreciate his time, and I appreciate both Joe and Nicole for going out and putting M1 on our platform to be able to launch that and believe in something that we're doing and put it out there so everyone can see what they're doing. I mean, this is something that they've worked hard on, and I'm just happy that they gave us the time to run an interview with us.
I'll right behind you on that. Nicole, thank you very much. You weren't on here, but hey, you've made an impact with what your man's doing. That's for damn sure. Yeah. So, well, shoot, fellas, that's episode 20 in the books. Everyone, be sure, check us out, rate, review, comment, add us, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Spotify. Look at that. How do you not want to watch this on YouTube? Come on. Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple, you name it, we're there. Check us out. Let us know what you think. But again, episode 20 in the books. I didn't really have a number or think of where this could go, but 20 episodes.
Better than I thought.
20 episodes is a lot, fellas, and looking forward.
Half a year.
Looking forward to a lot more. So here at Connected by Seams, that's episode 20. The birthday boy, older and wiser, Garrett Smith. Episode 20.
20, right?
Yeah. Danny Espinoza down there, and I'm Cessnick. But that's us, the trio out. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one. Peace.
See you guys.
Peace.